Episode 1 of Foundation Season 3 takes place 152 years after the Second Crisis. Now, Foundation now controls the entire Outer Reach and is pushing into the Middle Band. A string of planets lie here, with the most important being Calgan, the Pleasure Planet. Now, if Calgan can be controlled, then the rest of the Middle Band will follow suit. This means that both the Empire and Foundation are striving to take control. Now, Gael's narration guides us through most of the history lesson here, as cryosleep has kept her alive for 3 centuries. She's watched the Foundation grow in that time, as the Empire has similarly declined. Harry Seldon, however, remains an enigmatic part of this world. Realising how lucrative this planet actually is, an opportunistic space pirate called Mule takes over. He wants to be the new warlord of Calgan and has a very large appetite, which he shows against the Archduke and his legions of soldiers. He explains that he has powers that allow him to compel people, and just like that, the ships turn on one another and fire. The planet rains hellfire as Mule watches on in delight. All the soldiers eventually kill each other, leaving only the Archduke standing. He's forced to hand over his ring after biting his finger off before killing himself. We then cut to Jumpgate Prospero. After the Empire lost control of the spaces during the Second Crisis, the Empire have actually been using these to travel across the galaxy. This has not only lowered their influence, but also accelerated their decline too. The Cleonic dynasty are not the force they once were, with infighting in their own galactic council too. The third crisis is on the verge of occurring though, and, as we later find out, is due to take place in about 4 months' time. Brother Dawn and Lady Demerzel head to the Galactic Council, where they speak to the governors about the current issues they face. Now, Dawn believes a splinter foundation can work to their benefit. He wants to help arm the traders here, who are known as merchant princes, which in turn will weaken the foundation from within. They can then try to bring their planets back, starting with the bread baskets and expanding out from there. The council are rather twitchy and want to wait for Emperor Day before agreeing on anything, but Dawn pushes through the vote all the same. Day is busy gallivanting off on Trantor, refusing to engage, leaving Dawn to step up and fulfill the political duties. They're 10 days out from a new Ascension 2, which does work in his favour. After the meeting, we cut across to Trantor, where we find Brother Dusk watching footage morbidly of dusk becoming darkness. Dawn shows up and explains about the current trade deals that have been pushed through. He also mentions Mule as well, and how he's a bit of a wild card. The futility of life and the Empire's influence are also discussed, as Dusk comments on the footage and contemplates whether those who run from their destiny are perhaps more truthful than those Cleons who walk willingly into the incinerator. Meanwhile, we catch up with the Foundation, who have shed their religious influences and moved into their expansionist phase. That success now brings challenges from within. There's an increasing power struggle as a new faction called the Traders are threatening to secede. This could unravel everything if they're not careful. Professor Ebling Miz has been studying the Rift for years and realises, much like the Cleons have, that the third crisis is incoming. Outside, he speaks to Harry Seldon. Now, Ebling is a self-taught psychohistorian and also his biographer too. Harry isn't particularly flattered by this fanboy attitude and explains he's not about to get involved in exactly who's to blame for this third crisis. Seldon does mention that in 3 days' time the ships will fall where they may, after revealing that he's given the Prime Radiant to the Empire. He doesn't disclose why, but it's clear that things are going to kick off in a big way soon. Demerzel has an interesting bit of dialogue with a luminous Zephyr here, as they walk through the gardens together. Demerzel opens up about the past and the Zeroth lore, including how she has now been programmed to only serve the Cleonic dynasty rather than humanity as a whole. But then, what would happen if the Cleons fall? This is actually something she's wrestling with, because Demerzel happens to have the Prime Radiant. She's seen the Empire fall, so why did Seldon even give her this? Was it to change this fate, or see her turn and work with the Foundation, breaking free from her program shackles? With the Council working swiftly, we get a glimpse of a planet called Haven here, which happens to house the Alliance of Traders. These guys have held a grudge against Foundation's ruling elite for a long time, and the Empire has silently been intervening, sending arms to their stronghold on Haven. This, of course, has been accelerated thanks to Dawn's influence. We see this play out through a drop that lands on the planet's surface, but what's interesting here is the way this world works. The sun is burning anything it touches in the light, so everybody here has to stick to the shadows. Randu Mallow is the leader of the Traders here, and a speeder chase takes place in a rather tense sequence as Traders and Foundation wrestle for control. With civil war on the brink of kicking off, Mallow does manage to get away. Defeated, Pritchard, someone who works with the Foundation, feeds back to Mayor Inber what's going on. He believes that the Traders are actually a distraction for something far bigger, most notably the Mule. He wants to investigate this soldier and figure out how he took Calgan all on his own. Inber is loath to start an international incident though, given Calgan is an independent planet and believes they should deal with the traders first before they do anything else. Pritchard is not happy, and as he lashes out, Imber throws his weight around, deciding to suspend his launch privileges. Naturally, Pritchard doesn't listen, steals the mayor's ship and heads to Calgan himself. Meanwhile, the Cleons prepare for Ascension Day. We finally get a glimpse of Brother Day here, who's not playing by the same rules anymore and leaning into indignity. Demerzel wants to show them something, and Day jokes the entire time, much to the annoyance of his brothers. Demerzel continues here, explaining that Hari Seldon has predicted a new Dark Ages that will take place in 4 months' time. Not only that, but the darkness represents the end of civilization as a whole. The model fails completely beyond the 4-month trajectory, meaning Seldon's numbers could well be completely useless beyond that. Just like that, we cut across to Ignis, where Gale awakens from her cryosleep, realizing that with the mule's arrival, they're out of time. So Foundation is back, and here we dive right into the heart of the issue, as Hari Seldon's third crisis looms on the horizon. The introduction to the mule is a great way to introduce a perilous antagonist for the season, and it's helped by the ominous eerie atmosphere clinging to those scenes. The political machinations are still very much at work here, and a driving force for the series at large. But Foundation has this interesting way of mixing this in with deeper philosophical questions. Seeing Dawn and Dusk discussing life is one such example, but the highlight is perhaps Demerzel talking about her own purpose and how she could well be made irrelevant should the Empire crumble. So how are they going to stop this incident? It seems Gale could be the key here, and with her now awake, could we be seeing the Empire and Foundation potentially forced to coexist to try and stop Mule before it's too late? This may also give Brother Day a sort of redemption arc, giving him purpose to fight for his kin, akin to the Fat Thor storyline we saw in Avengers Endgame. Only, this one would actually be well written and not make a mockery of this character. The visuals are still great in this series, and season 3 is no exception on that front. You really can't fault Apple for throwing money at their projects, as every single one of them is gorgeously produced. However, the ending here leaves everything hanging in the balance for what should be a very dramatic and intriguing season to follow. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.